This one, anyone celebrating though? Let's get that out of the way. Birthday? Whose birthday? Mine? Happy birthday, mine. Let's all sing happy birthday to mine. What's your name? Eve, you came out here to a great show. You have me, you have our future act, Howard Rao. I promise you we've not related to the building, there is no nepotism there. And your headliner here is Dr. Bill. Who did you come out to see, Eve? Bill, of course. Excellent. Who's seen Dr. Bill before? Just Eve? All right, Eve, I'm going to take a few minutes to tell everyone how great Dr. Bill is. It is a fantastic show. Everyone, let's say happy birthday to Eve. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday! Excellent. When I tell jokes, I'm going to be about 6 to 7 degrees louder. Just make it the punchline. Well, happy birthday. Thanks for coming out. Anyone else do anything fun tonight? Just this? All right. Well, I'll try to make it fun for you. That's not a problem. I do want to reintroduce myself. My name is Ted. I get this asked all the time. What is that nickname for? What is it short for? Nothing. It's short for nothing. My name is Ted. There's nothing wrong with the size of my name. It's perfectly adequate. It's a perfectly sized name. In fact, my wife tells me all the time that it's not the size of my name that counts, it's how I use it. To be fair, I'm not a great listener, but I'm pretty sure she said name. What else? Hey, you know what? Halloween's around the corner. You guys gonna let the kids come back up to your door this year? Who's doing that? Who's gonna do door-to-door candy again? I see a few hands. A few hands are probably still thinking. Here's the thing. I think this is one of the coolest things about everything that happened is that we all know kids have had some pretty rough time with what's been going on. But last year's Halloween was kind of cool for some kids, right? Some people just put out the bowl in the honor system and whatever. But some people have elaborate systems. They have an RC car that would bring candy down, or some they zip lines from their porch to the sidewalk. That's pretty cool. The kids are going to be able to remember that. I think that was great for them. And I thought, well, we can put those away now. We can bring kids back to the door. And then society opened up. And I've been around some kids for a while. And I kind of want to leave them at the end of the driveway to be able to. I understand now why people hide in their house on Halloween and turn off the lights and pretend they're not home. Because, to be honest, sometimes I just want to pretend I'm not home and sit in the dark for 4 hours instead of handing out kids. Handing out candy to kids. Take a note, Ted. Just didn't go wrong. It's funny. Right. Who's got kids? Who said amen down here? You been around kids? All right, yeah. And I'm not saying your kids specifically or my kids. I have kids. But anyone who's had kids or been around kids, you know what time is that kids will make you just go, oh, right? You know what I mean? Like, you can't say that in front of them, but they just have that thing. And it just drives you nuts. Like, my kids are great kids, and I love them, but I can't be their friend. I know that's how it works as a parent, but I want to be cool with them, so in a few years, when they ask for advice, they know Dad's cool, and they come to me. So I decided when we were all locked in the house last year, that I would try to play their video games, try to be one with them, and I didn't want to play the violent video games. We're not really into sports. So I figured something simple, something easy. We would play Mario games. Because Mario has enough careers, it's kind of like a trade school. I figured maybe they'd pick up some skills. Not my kids. They can't drive a race car. They can't ref a tennis match. They can't play tennis. They can't ref a boxing match. They can't play soccer. They can't be a pilot. They can't fight an ape at the top of a construction building. They can't save the princess. They're never going to be doctors. And the saddest part, and the most disturbing part, is that they're now even worse at plumbing than when we started. It's mostly my son. I don't know what he does in the bathroom, but I know when he's done. There's 2 signs he gives me. If I come home and the toilet seat is down, he's done something that he wants me to fix. If I come home, the toilet seat is down and the bathroom door is shut, I have literally considered just setting my house on fire and starting again. I was a boy once. I don't remember being that gross. Maybe I was, but I swear, my son, from the toilet seat to the edge of the table where he sits in the kitchen to whatever is growing between his mouth and his nose, if it has a lip, my son can make it gross. Yeah, it's true. I'm so proud father right here. It's different now. Like, I thought when we opened up kids and want to go back outside again, I forgot what kids were like these days. When I was a kid, we just lived outside. There was no inside. You came home from school, you changed your clothes, you went outside. Saturday, you did your chores, you changed your clothes, you went outside. Sunday was the Lord's Day. You came home from church, you changed your clothes, and you went outside. You just didn't do any work. You just were outside. As long as there was natural light, you were outside. And that's fine. However, I do have some traumatizing memories as a child. When I was a child, I had flaming red hair. Golden copper locks. Nowadays, if you're a ginger, it's cool. It's sexy. Prince Harry's got red hair, so you can be a royal with red hair. Supermodels are sought after for the red hair. When I was a kid, the phrase redheaded stepchild was thrown around. And my parents were always together. I wasn't even a stepchild, but somehow my friends and peers, having red hair made me a troll. To the adults, I think they thought my parents had given birth to some sort of Irish folklore creature because they all wanted to rub my head. And apparently in the late 70s, early 80s, they hadn't invented stranger danger yet. My parents were all for it. Yeah, go ahead. See if you can capture Lucky Charms. Let us know if they are, in fact, magically delicious. And it wasn't the fact that strangers were able to run their hair through my locks that traumatized me. I'm not trying to say that. I don't think any parents would now. It was the fact that they rubbed too hard and didn't leave any wishes for me now as an adult. They left nothing. Totally off my head. So many other things have changed. We found out how much we hated cooking at home. That when they told us that our favorite restaurant could have us back, but only outside, we took it. We called your favorite restaurant. Hey, do you have the outside dining? Oh, well, we have a card table near the dumpster that the bus boys use to smoke. I'll take it. Party 4 or 5 o'clock. I can now leave the house with my family. Hey, do you guys have the outside dining? Well, we have 18 inches of sidewalk that follows into a ditch and then a 4-lane highway that usually has a lot of semis during the dinner hour. I'll take it party 40 as long as I can tell you who gets to sit in the ditch. We hated it so much that we literally take anything. I went to the doctor's office during the lockdown, which the doctor's office can be scary as it is. Hope Dr. Bill, honestly, but the doctor's office can be scary as it is. And then during the pandemic, it was even scarier because they took all the fun stuff away. There wasn't any free coffee or suckers at the receptionist desk. The magazines from the 80s were gone. I couldn't even people watch because they separated us. You couldn't tell if anyone was in the waiting room. It got so boring that I started reading signs. This exact sign is in my doctor's office. It says, colonoscopy, enter at lower level. And I was like, well, that's absolutely correct. That's very factual. And I hope the rest of you get that joke on the way home because it's very, I'm proud of that joke and I really like it. So many changes. I think the biggest change is the labor shortage, and I don't want to get political. I don't want to talk about the unemployment or the fact that there's less humans on the earth that have these jobs and people find better jobs. That's not what I want to talk about. I want to take 1 second and say, if you go somewhere and they're trying their hardest and they're short-staffed, please be patient with them. They're trying their hardest. It's just how it is right now. We'll get through it. That said, I am tired of bagging and checking out my own groceries at the grocery store. Labor shortage for the grocery stores means you and I and all of us, we're working for them for free. And the last time I was there, I lost my wallet. And I didn't notice while I was on the clock at my free volunteer job. I noticed when I got home. Because I'm one of those meticulous guys that always puts his stuff away. So I put my phone away and my hat and my keys, and I went to look for my wallet, and it wasn't there. And I did that pre-dance that you do before you leave. I did it post-returning, and I did this. This is why you're going to regret. Yes, I wear a waistcoat every day. I check those pockets. No wallet. I walked 2 feet and went, you know what? Because maybe I was doing a magic trick at myself, and suddenly my wallet would reappear. It did not. So I had to go back to my volunteer job, and I walked up to my boss, Kyle, who was at the podium. Dance for 2 seconds out of breath. You really spend your time on it, though. Talked to my boss at the podium, Kyle, who was watching my fellow customers / coworkers do their job, and I said, hey, I was here about 20 minutes ago, and I lost a wallet. He turned to me and he said, oh no, what were you doing? Turns out I was doing your job. I lost my wallet doing your job. And I think this is on you, Kyle. I didn't need an employee handbook, or an orientation day, or a store tour. I didn't know if there were lockers or cubbies or places I could put my personal items while I was doing my job. So while I was taking my groceries from your cart to your scanner to your bags and asking myself what form of payment I was going to use, handing myself a form of payment, using the form of payment, and putting the form of payment back in my wallet, I apparently dropped it. And he said, oh, well that's weird. We did find a wallet here about 20 minutes ago. And this is how I knew Kyle was my true boss. Because he gave me pertinent information after I needed it. I said, well, do you have it? He said, no, we give it to customer service. Second clue that Kyle was my true boss, he's already passing the buck. I go over to customer service, and I say, hi, this is how can I help you? And I said, I understand you have a wallet. And they said, no problem, we just need to see some ID. Now this is supervisor level. This person is asking me to provide a service for them I can't do, and they want it done immediately. That's every boss I've ever had in my entire life. Labor shortage, my ass. And I know I didn't have to be that cranky with them. I know I didn't have to be that rude, but I'm getting old. I can tell I'm getting the cliches. My knees tell me when the weather's going to change. I can neither sit down nor stand up without making additional noises that gross my kids out. But the biggest clue that I knew I was getting older is that one of my children texted me to ask me if I was free to call me to ask a question. So I texted back, did you just text me to ask me a question? Using a question? And they unironically said, yeah. So I allowed the call, and they called towards the end. I said, I just want to let you know one thing. Do you know what we did when we wanted to know if someone was available to take a call? We called them. Blew their mind. What if they were available? What would they do? They wouldn't answer the phone. And we would try again. That's just how it worked. And when I was a kid, probably up until I was 15, they didn't even know who was calling. They just had to take a risk every time we called. And that's when I found out that just using a phone in its regular fashion was my kid's generation version of telling them that I walked to school uphill both ways in 5 feet of snow every day of the year. Felt super old that day. So many changes. I found out one thing didn't change. One thing stayed the same. And that place, it makes you feel older when you go there. There's 5 minutes there. It turns into, it feels like 5 years. That place is the DMV. Now, before I tell you the story, I like to poll the audience. Who enjoys going to the DMV? That's what I get. A lot of no's, no ways. I like going to the DMV, and let me tell you why. I have a mirror, I see my face, I know what I look like. These guys can vouch for it. Crystal Lake, I get it. Here in Crystal Lake, I'm probably a 3.5 on a good day. That's my face, I get it. I go down to the DMV, and I'm the hot guy. I'm an 8, 9. That guy's got matching shoes, pants, and a vest. He's got something going on. I like to go down there and see people. I like to be seen. It's my place. It's where I feel like taking a photo. But then you have to deal with people that work at the DMV. And now I get, oh, you guys don't know like going there. And I don't really get this. It's not like they walked there to fill out their application. They knew what they were getting into when they went there, right? They knew that they were just going to be a line of jerks in front of them and they were going to get jerks back. I don't understand why it was so early. They knew they were going to get jerks. And I went in and I handed my piece of paper and my driver's license, and for some reason I had to renew in person. It was on the paper. I didn't read speeding tickets. Those 1 or 2 vehicular vans. It doesn't matter. I had to go in. Lady looks at the license, looks at me, looks at the license, looks at me, looks at me, looks at the license. First thing out of her mouth, the catalyst of our conversation, the beginning of the relationship I'm going to have with this woman is, sir, are you ever going to go back? And I said, to the future? Because I was confused. I thought maybe I'd stepped into this conversation partway into that 5-minute, 5-year window and didn't know what had happened. And she said, no, I'm not looking for snark, sir. I just didn't know if you're ever going to go back. And I said, look, I didn't feel stupid when I walked in. I feel stupid now. Just tell me what nugget of information you're looking for. I'll give it to you and we can move on. I will both be happy. Looks me dead in the face and says, sir, are you ever going to go back to not being bald? I didn't know you could do that at the DMV. If I had known I could just decide what I wanted to look at, tell them that, and put it on my license and my face would magically change, I think they'd be more popular. They should advertise that more. I understand that I would immediately go down to a DMV 3. But that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make, so you guys can look the way you want to. I'm perfectly fine with that. The irony and the joke is on her because I can't grow hair. I didn't grow it today because it's too sexy. It's too alluring. If you go ask your stylist about it, they'll tell you the name of the haircut I can grow is the public toilet seat. Because I can grow hair from here, thick and full, all the way around the back. I just can't make it meet in the middle. Those of you that are explaining on the way on the other people, I know it's solid things I'm really proud of. But the best part of this is that this woman thinks I picked this face on purpose. That every day as a child, after the adults would steal my wishes by rubbing their hands to my ginger locks, I would go home and put my head on the pillow and send my prayers up to little baby Jesus that one day, everybody, I would grow up to look like a thumb with a beard. Crazy. Are you guys ready to keep this fun going? You guys ready to bring your feature entertainment over here? This guy is a favorite of mine. I love working with him. He is so great. He's up and coming. You'll see him all over the clubs in Chicago. You'll see him at Zany's, all over the place. Everybody.